This episode of Smokin Sounds is sponsored by Tuber Cigar Storage. Premium cigar storage built for cigar smokers who want style, protection, and freshness all in one setup. Go give them a follow on Instagram at Tuber Storage or visit tuberstorage.com and upgrade the way you store your smokes. And by 4 John's Apparel. Make sure you're following them on Instagram at 4 John's Apparel. It's Smokin Sounds, baby, the ultimate podcast for cigar and pipe enthusiasts and those looking to embark on a journey where smoke intertwines with sound. What's up, everybody? I'm Shawn, one of the hosts of Smokin Sounds, and joining me is a man who needs no introduction. His belly's a little big, his hiney's a little big, but brother, it's the Pipe Yoda himself. It's Justin!
Hello, everybody. What a great tete-a-tete, if you will. This is Justin, going through hard times, but still smoking a fine cigar. And no, Ric Flair, there ain't no honor among thieves, brother. How's it going, Mr. Shawn?
I had to come in with that because of, our special guest that we're fixing to introduce. He loved your Dusty Rhodes imitation the other day, so we had to make sure we brought you in with his belly's a little big. I love that quote from Dusty.
Go on the television, put your hand on my hand, and we'll make it to Starcade 87.
It's hard out here, Daddy. It's hard out here. Well, Justin, you got anything else you want to say before we bring on our very special guest?
Listen, we've been doing half this podcast before we even hit record, so I'm raring to go.
All right, ladies, hold on. We got to start it.
You didn't know? Your ass better call somebody.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Smokin Sounds proudly presents to you the BWO Heavyweight Champion of the World, the Smoke Break Kid. It's JP. Woo! What is up, brother JP?
Brother JP,
Guys. That's awesome. That is awesome.
That's right. You didn't know you were going to be the Smoke Break Kid now.
Oh, I love it. That is fantastic. Anything similar to the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, one of the best of all time. I will take that all day.
Hey, I know. Look, I was up in the middle of the night, and I was like, man, I got to do JP justice. I got to figure out a way to get him on this podcast, a proper introduction. So, well, first and foremost, thank you so much for taking time to come hang out with a couple of knuckleheads in Tulsa. Obviously, we got a chance to meet at the PCA, and that was just we still talk about it like it was yesterday.
Oh yeah.
So thank you for taking the time out to be on with us. And Justin, let me borrow your lighter real quick. So I guess we'll start with the official stuff first. So we'll let you introduce yourself, kind of tell us a little bit about what you do at Boveda and kind of all that, and then we'll kind of get into some more of the fun stuff, if you will.
If you will. Yeah, man. So I'm JP Awad. A lot of people know me as Boveda JP. I wear a few different hats at Boveda. First and foremost, I'm the Eastern United States sales rep on our tobacco team. So I've been with the company a little over 4 years now. I also am the co-host of our podcast here at Boveda, Box Press and Unboxed. So
I'm sorry about that.
Oh, good, man. And I also do photography for Boveda as well. So a lot of our photography there is my stuff. So yeah, man, it's a great company. It's been around for almost 30 years, started in 1997, and it's a great product. A lot of people are obviously familiar with Boveda. If you're a cigar smoker, you likely know what Boveda is and likely use it as well. So it's a lot of fun. I'm based here in Minnesota where HQ is, just outside of Minneapolis, and it's been a lot of fun, man. Great company, great people. I couldn't love it more than I do. So yeah.
Excellent. So I want to get everybody, because we have a lot of listeners the Boveda packs come in various, they're a two-way humidification pack for your cigars, or your pipe tobacco. So there's like 72%, 69%. There's even that start. What is that season pack? What is it, like 80% or 90%, something like that?
Yeah, 84.
84. Yeah. Okay. And so. Again, we just want to kind of make sure, because again, we have a lot of listeners from some people they've never had a cigar, and unfortunately, we've actually inspired people to go out and start smoking cigars. That's kind of what we do sometimes. So,
well, and you don't have to be a cigar smoker to support Boveda. I was looking at the website. If you're a musician, you can use the Boveda packs for your acoustic guitars. Did you know that, Justin?
Now that I did not know. What's the one they tip a guitar player usually wants?
49%.
49. Yeah, okay.
49. Yeah. So cellos, basses, guitars, violins, any woodwind, any wood instrument. 49% Boveda will keep it'll keep essentially what it does. It allows you to stay in tune longer. No warping of your wood. Dude, it's awesome, and it's actually been around a lot longer than people realize. But it's a phenomenal product. And not only does Boveda have that, obviously for flower as well, we've got Boveda humidities for that as well, and that's been a big piece of our business model for a really long time. And newly, as recently as just this past week, we released an item called Skipper. It is a product that keeps your crisper drawer in your refrigerator up to 3 times longer. It makes
okay.
You don't have to suffer through wilt guilt anymore, man. So. It's called the Mister for your crisper, man. It's a pack that goes into your crisper drawer. It keeps your beans fresher for up to 3 times longer than if you didn't have it in there. It's phenomenal. It'll revolutionize the way that people.
Wow. Okay. And so people can get that from your site, from your website.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah, and that's because, and I think you guys we were talking, the Tuber, the guys that we've gotten introduced to, we met them at PCA and been in touch with Tyler and stuff, and so they do a lot. They do the Tuber Gordo storage for cigars, but they also have like the stash that, for flower and stuff, but I turned Justin onto it, and I said, this would be a great little thing for pipe tobacco as well.
Yeah.
And then they have the one for pre-rolls, but I think like the little Sweet Baby Janes and kind of, some of the little kind of carry all day, everyday cigars would go great with those too. But
like the Cheroots or Banditos, something like that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So were you in the cigar industry prior to being with Boveda, or was it just like, I love cigars, I love this company, let's see what we can make happen?
No, actually I wasn't. So I worked, previous to working in the cigar industry, I spent 10 years in the beer industry.
Wow.
Yeah, so here in Minnesota, I was the sales director of a few different breweries based out of Minneapolis. Well, one of them was Minnetonka, Lake Minnetonka, and did that for almost 10 years. I had a business in between a couple of my tenures working at 2 breweries where I did basically, and this is funny because this was previous to a lot of people who now do this, but I was doing consulting. I was doing photography and social media management for small businesses locally here in Minnesota. And a lot of my clients that I worked with were breweries, many of whom I knew during my 10 years working as a sales director of 2 other breweries. So, so I was in the industry a really long time. I've been a cigar smoker since I was 18 years old. I'm 41 now. And so smoked cigars for a really long time, kind of on and off from, 18 to about 22, I smoked them pretty regularly. And then it was kind of on and off, special occasions, things like that until about like 2018. And then I got back into them quite a bit, and then got into them heavily during the pandemic, as a lot of people did. A lot of people took up cigar smoking during the pandemic, right? Because it was one of the very few things you could do with a group of people, because you could sit outside and have cigars and shoot the shit, and you know what I mean? Just
right.
have a good time together, right? And so I'm of the opinion, and I always will be, that the best conversations I've ever had were over a cigar. I don't know what it is, and I can't explain it, but the most substantial conversations, and also smoking a cigar is so cathartic. Think about smoking a cigar that just calms your nerves. But sorry, I kind of went off on a slight tangent, but yeah, I got into this. I got into Boveda. I got very lucky. I was beginning to burn out a little bit on the beer industry, and that's nothing against the industry. It's just you wear a lot of hats when you work for small breweries or small businesses in general. And Nate, who has been one of my dear friends for, at this point, we're coming on like 15 years.
Love that guy. I'm so glad you brought up Nate. I was just about to say, him and Mike are just tremendous individuals as well.
Wonderful human. And so Nate was already working here at the time. And Nate had been with the company about a year. And I said, hey, Nate, if you guys ever have an opening at Boveda, you got to let me know. I love the product. I love what it stands for. It's an easy sell because the product works 100% of the time. And I said, if you guys ever have an opening, you got to let me know. And so a job opening popped up, and he said, hey, you should apply for this. come in for an interview. I came in for an interview, and it was for a different job at Boveda that I didn't quite have the know-how or the industry experience or hands-on experience in the industry to be able to take on that role and do the job that I think that it required, right? Like that it required more than I could afford it because I didn't know the industry and I didn't know the people in the industry yet. And it just so happens that while I was in that interview, another position was opening up that I ended up like essentially segueing during that interview into a different interview. For this, you're going to love this. The first brewery that I was a sales director of, the gentleman that I was interviewing for the position of here at Boveda worked in back of house at the brewery that I was a sales director of.
Oh, wow. Man.
The departing sales rep, holy crap, look out. The departing sales rep at Boveda is a guy that I worked with like 10, 12 years previous to that at the first brewery I worked at. And it's like, small world, man. Like, what are the odds of that, right?
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, so the rest is history, and there's a lot of parallels between the beer industry and the cigar industry. I mean, it's crazy. Like beer labels, cigar labels, the stories behind brands, where they came from, the people behind the brands, or the breweries or what have you. It's crazy. So, like, I didn't really miss a beat when I came on board, and, I know cigars, I know them way better now, but when I started, I knew cigars pretty well. I understood the whatever you want to call them, the ins and outs of being a cigar smoker and all that kind of fun stuff. And so the rest was just kind of a cherry on top. And, fortunately, I'm a little over 4 years in now, and I feel very fortunate to be in this position.
That's awesome. And you're right, because there's so many craft breweries out there now. It's kind of like all the boutique brand cigars. And, it's kind of like it's almost this one half dozen one another, because even here in Tulsa, our little community, we have News Story, we have a whole bunch of different little breweries here, and it's like, man, I wish we had some local boutique cigar shops. We only have one. I mean, we have cigar lounges and stuff, but Tomas Ultimo Cigars is the only one that's kind of the brand that's here in town. But yeah, it's great that you were able to just kind of slide right in. And so when you do photography, you said you were doing photography prior to. What was kind of your were you doing like for social media, or were you doing like weddings, stuff like that? What kind of photography were you doing?
Yeah, I found my forte in photography pretty quickly was product photography. So that's where I excelled. It's what I understood the best, as far as like composition of photography, editing those photos to make them look the way I wanted. And then I got really into lifestyle product photography. So lifestyling it the way that a human would actually use the product, right?
Yeah.
And, a lot of studio photographers are really great with their lighting and things like that. I use zero lighting in photography. Wow. I do not use studio equipment at all. I use natural light only. And I do a little bit of editing, but I pride myself on doing photography that is very lifelike, very lifestyled, and composed in such a way that the person looking at it, whether they see it on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or wherever they see it, they see my photos and go, damn, that looks like the way that I'd have it laid out.
Yeah.
Like that looks like it's on my desk at my house or on my coffee table or on my credenza or whatever. So that's just, yeah. And so I was actually doing photography just as a hobby. And then I got working in the breweries. And once I started working at breweries, I started doing, beer can photography, pouring shots, pint glasses that had like the tap pouring into them and just getting those types of shots. And kind of found my calling there, man. And, obviously with Boveda, that's, if you see some of my stuff, if you follow me, it's Boveda_JP on Instagram. You can see exactly the way I like to shoot my stuff.
Excellent.
Yeah. And so when you do because I absolutely love your photography.
Thank you.
And it reminds me, because I love the street photography style, because it's that kind of raw, natural, there's not a lot of lighting. It's real life. And I get that feeling when I look at your photographs. But like do you do the photographs of yourself when you're like, setting it and it's like a full frame of view in it? Do you kind of set your camera up and do those shots yourself as well?
Yeah. So some of the photography that I had done when I started at Boveda was a really dear friend of mine named Melanie Kramer. I believe hers is Mel_MPLS for Minneapolis. He's a very gifted photographer. She actually shot my wife and I's wedding and our engagement photos. So I asked her to shoot some photos for me early on. And if you can believe it, a lot of the photos of me were taken by my wife.
Hey.
She's not like a classically trained photographer or anything, man, but like she has a really good eye for that type of thing. And she was a model for many years. And so she has an eye for it. And so, yeah, man, like anytime that I need some shots of myself, whether it's for Boveda or otherwise, I'm just like, hey, could you take a couple photos of me? Like I don't have any, recent shots. And she's like, absolutely, I'd be glad to. And she's great.
That's awesome. Yeah. And the lounge that you were at the other, you'd posted a picture from. The name escapes me, but man, I absolutely love the look of that lounge. It just looked like, man, that's the type of place we'd want to go hang out. It looked like, but being up there in Minneapolis, Ric Flair could walk through the door because it was styling and profiling up there. Justin.
Yeah, that's a really great lounge here in Minnesota. It's a members only lounge, and it's called the Round Table Lounge.
Okay.
And so it definitely has a Knights of the Round Table kind of vibe to it. And so when you see a lot of the pieces of art and things, that's kind of the focus. But it's a great spot. It's here in Minnesota, just in the metro area, and really good people that own it. And a lot in the entire base of membership is just super cool people, man. So happy to be a part of it and happy to be friends with those folks. Yeah.
And so we had, I'd asked some of our followers and stuff. I told them, we were going to have you on, and I had some people kind of message me some questions. And obviously, most of the questions I got was, well, what's been your favorite cigar that you've been able to kind of experience, working for? Because I'm assuming you guys get cigars left and right. Probably you may even have your own walk-in humidor there at Boveda where you can just walk in. But the one I wanted to start with is one of the followers. I think it was Smoklahoma Cigars. It's a fellow Oklahomer asked, how many times has the brand name just been chopped, screwed, butchered when someone tries to pronounce Boveda? And are we even pronouncing it the right way?
You are, and I thank you for that. So I have a really funny story about Boveda, actually. So it is Boveda. And I think that in most instances, I will say probably 7 out of 10 people mispronounce it. Uh-huh. It's usually Boveda or Boveda is what people call it.
That was me.
And we're of the opinion that it's like, we don't give a shit what you call it. We know what you're referring to. You know what I mean? We don't need to tell people that they're pronouncing it wrong. If they ask, right, in this instance, right, you're asking, it's Boveda. Now, when we named the brand, we changed names. But when we changed the name, it was Boveda was one of the top few options, right, that Shawn and Tim, the two owners, decided on. And they were like, we really like Boveda. That sounds really cool. But at the time, I believe they were calling it Boveda. They didn't realize this, and it actually took Carlito Fuente of Fuente Cigars to tell them that they were mispronouncing the name of their company.
Oh, wow.
And so he was like, it's actually pronounced Boveda, like almost like, because V's, right, in the Spanish language, in many instances, are pronounced like a B. And so he just said, if you're going to pronounce it like an American, right, in the English language, it's Boveda. And so it's just very funny to tell people that story. It's just a fun anecdote where it's like, man, that's hilarious that Shawn and Tim didn't even realize that it was supposed to be Boveda, not Boveda or Boveda. So,
See, and I'm 100% guilty of that myself. I used to call it Boveda until we had John Huber from Crowned Heads on, and he was talking about just this great relationship he has with you guys. And so thanks to John, he taught me how to say it the right way. So I was like, thank you so much.
Yeah. And shout out to John Huber of Crowned Heads. Woo!
Yeah. Hey, and I saw he got a delivery from you guys today. That was pretty cool.
Yes, he did. Yeah. I'm so stoked we were able to do that. Justin Hunter, if people don't know Justin Hunter, he is a phenomenal photographer. Yep. He does a little bit of everything. He's a great portrait photographer, lifestyle photographer. Justin Hunter, the Owlland Cigars. If you don't know him on Instagram, the Owlland Cigars, check him out. Shout out to Justin.
Yes, sir. So, Justin, what do you got for JP? I'm not trying to hog the mic here. I'm not trying to fanboy out by myself.
Okay, so all right, so let me jump in here with first we're going to go around the table here. So our friend Josh, who's joined us before. Do you have a mic?
Yeah, he should have.
I got a mic.
Okay, just making sure. So Josh, you've been on before, so you're an old hand at this now. So what are you smoking, and how's it treating you?
It's an HDA, Hermanos de Armas. It is the Veiled Mutiny, and it's one of my favorites, and it's treating me really nice.
Okay, yes. Would you describe cigar. That as a full body or mild?
It is a full body cigar. It's I think Maduro or some kind of San Andreas. It's a dark cigar. It's full bodied. It's got a lot going on.
Okay. And so, Shawn, what did you say you were hitting
I was
on?
hoping you weren't going to ask me, Justin, because you know how bad I am at, I was just talking about butchering Boveda's name.
Uh-oh.
So I'm smoking a My Father, and I believe it's the law, and I can't even read this.
Well,
come back to me on that. Because
okay, I'll come back to you.
Even with my glasses on, I can't make out this small print. But
oh my gosh,
it's a My Father Maduro, and it's absolutely fantastic. And then, so JP, what are you smoking today, my friend?
Yeah, guys, I am smoking an LFD, La Flor Dominicana Apollonia, which is so the Apollonia is a kind of one of their rare cigars. It was a very small batch of it. It is a absolutely delicious cigar. It's, I believe, so Tony Gomez is the one that made this cigar, and it is a take on I believe the Cabinet Number 3, which is one of Lito's go-tos, Lito Senior. So I apologize if I'm incorrect on any of this information, but dude,
that's okay.
I've been a big fan of LFD for a very long time. They're dear friends of us. They've been huge supporters and proponents of Boveda for a very long time. Shout out to Lito Senior, Lito Junior, and Tony. You guys are the best. But this is a phenomenal cigar, man. If you can get your hands on one, it's so good.
And I believe Tony was hand rolling cigars at the PCA. Is that I think I've got the right gentleman.
He very well could have been. I barely got out from behind our booth.
Yeah.
PCA is an absolute blast, and I love that event. I adore the event. But Nate and I are, the two primary sales reps on the tobacco side for Boveda. And so all of our time is spent at our booth, and every now and again in the mornings, prior to the waterfall or the opening of the floodgates of all of our customers coming through and seeing us, we get a chance to walk around to some of the booths and say what's up to people and chat with them a little bit. And I did get a chance to see if Tony was doing that, but that's freaking cool if he was.
Yeah, me and Justin were fortunate enough to be able to stop by the booth because we got in an hour early before the floodgates opened or whatever. And you guys were so gracious to say hi to us each morning. And we just we look forward to it every morning, getting to come and say hi to you and Nate and Mike and everybody. And you guys were gracious enough to introduce us to Shawn and Tim. And that, again, that was just a big highlight of our trip. And sure, it's not the last time we'll talk about it on Smokin Sounds, just because you guys just left such a great lasting impression on us,
That means dude. Thank you.
Now the cigar I'm smoking though is the I got the Stoke. It's the collab between CAO, I do believe, and the Stockaby pipe tobacco. Now, so when you hear that, you might think, aromatic. Now this is actually, I think this involves a lot more of the like Virginia or Maryland type tobaccos. It's not an aromatic in that like typical Deadwood or Outcast sense, but it's really enjoyable. The retrohale kind of stings like it should. See, to me, a retrohale that doesn't kind of sting you on the way out, you're kind of wasting your time, So just really enjoying that. Again, it's a different take on the cigars, and so I think I want to come down to the end of our cigar talk because there's so much wrestling to cover, JP. But again, yeah. Now, what I wanted to tell everybody publicly is that, again, because we were actually talking. Shawn had to take care of some business, and so JP and I were talking, and I just said, the thing I love about Boveda packs is that you don't have to babysit your cigars. You just put it in there. If you have the right one for the amount of cigars you have, then you're good to go. You can just get them and smoke them, and I love the fact that you can have them. Like a lot of times we'll get several cigars like in a Ziploc bag, throw a Boveda pack in there, you're good to go. So I just love that.
And Jay Furman, I don't know, JP, I don't know if you know Jay Furman. He's out of New York. He's a big pipe smoker. He has a great Instagram following, but just a hell of a guy. He usually does them on Sundays. They're called coffee talks, and he does them with pipe makers, artisan pipe makers and stuff. But last night he did one with Daniel from Domain.
Yeah.
And it was just fantastic. But he messaged me today because he knew we were going to have you on, and he said, I just want you to tell JP that Boveda is one of the true products that I completely trust with my cigars and pipe tobacco. He said, I'll never not use a Boveda pack. He said, tried and trusted, has never let me down. And so I think it's just great to hear that, because you think about it, some of those, what's the actual lifespan of a Boveda pack? Because I've had some, like I buy the Cigar Bro humidors that you guys are partnered with. And I feel like I have one that's like 100 count, and I feel like that Boveda pack lasted almost a year in there. So what's what is, before we get into all that wrestling talk, I think this is a question a lot of guys want to know is, how often should you be switching out that Boveda pack?
Dude, ultimately, it depends on a lot of factors, right? There are so many factors. The primary one being, if you've got, say it's a wood humidor, right? Uh-huh. If your wood humidor isn't seasoned well enough, right, the Boveda pack is not going to last, right? It's got to be seasoned well, and we always suggest 84% Boveda packs for 14 days with no cigars inside of it. And at 14 days, discard those packs and then throw your 69s or 72s or whatever you prefer in there, and you are going to be golden. Now, in those instances, Boveda packs can last from 3 months upward. And when I say upward, I'm talking about months and months and months. But, if you've got an acrylic humidor, if you've got a Tupper-Door, if you've got a Herfador, whatever you've got, cooler doors, things of that nature, dude, you can have Boveda packs that'll last for literally a year to 2 years. So just to give you kind of a quick testimonial from a lot of the people that I saw, was it 2 weekends ago? I was out there with Jay from Boveda here and myself. We were out at Smokin in Drums, Pennsylvania. That's the Best Cigar Prices event, which is phenomenal, by the way. My God, is that a well put on event. And we had one customer after another. And this is one of my favorite things. They're like testimonials on the fly, right? Yeah. Where people come up to us and they're like, I've only used your product. I only use your product. It's incredible. Like one guy came over and he's like, I've got a 450 count Herfador. I've got 320 gram Boveda packs in there that have been in there for 2 years plus. They still have liquid inside of them, and my cigars burn and smoke perfectly. It's the ideal smoking experience. So, dude, it's crazy. It's rare to have somebody need to troubleshoot why their Boveda packs aren't lasting as long. But the cool thing is that they've got us there. So, I'm happy to have those 2, 3, 4, 5 minute long conversations explaining to them all of the different variables that go into why a pack may not last as long. It could be the seal on the humidor isn't good enough. It could be that it's in too cool of a location, so the Boveda packs have to work, harder and longer. Just there's so much that goes into it. But at a bare minimum, if it's under ideal circumstances, 3 months plus is how long a Boveda pack should last.
Okay. Go ahead, Josh.
I think it's interesting. Boveda has become synonymous with humidification, almost like Zamboni or Xerox, right, or Kleenex.
Yeah, that's the big one we hear is that third one, Kleenex. Yeah. We're the Kleenex of humidification.
and they last for a very long time. I've come back to cigar boxes that I've used as humidors before that, I've emptied out or didn't use. The Boveda pack would be in there. And I mean, it's been over a year and they're still, floppy and stuff like that. Now I have had them become solid as a rock before too, if they're left, like you said, in cold places, leave them in your garage or something like that over time. But they are amazing. Is that something you're like, as far as them becoming synonymous with that product? Is that something you think that they set out to do? Like Kleenex, or is that just something that's happened?
Yeah, I don't know that it was necessarily that when Shawn and Tim started the business that they wanted to be a category superior, a category leader superior to anybody. Leader for sure, right? Because nothing existed prior to Boveda that was a two-way humidification system, right? It was only ever humidifiers, always.
Right.
So whether it's propylene glycol, beads, things of that nature, right? Florist sponges, whatever. But it's just one of those things that ended up happening organically, right? That over time, when people would talk about Boveda, they began talking about us as being like Josh, like you said, the Kleenex of humidification, where when you thought about humidification devices or humidification systems, Boveda was always top of mind for everybody. And that's just, fortunately, organically over all these years, almost 3 decades, we fortunately are in that position now that's how we're viewed, which is really cool.
Yeah, and I mean, because I've got, like I said, I carry this big Cigar Bro, I love this, and Ramon is just, and I love his new fresh boxes that you guys are doing with him. But This is I know I can throw this in my bag every day, I don't know why I need 30 cigars with me every day, JP, but I do. It's like my comfort, right? So, but I know that when I reach into here, the cigars are going to be fresh. Like my cousin Matt's over here, and we call him Matt's Poor Decisions. He's kind of our spirits expert when he comes on the podcast. But awesome. I brought one of the E.H. Taylors from the PCA for him. But, I just reached in there and grabbed it, and I know that as soon as he lights it, it's going to be fine because it's been in this Cigar Bro humidor with the Boveda pack in it. And then the only other thing I wanted to ask, I promise, Justin, we're about to get to wrestling. I promise. I've seen videos of people rehydrating Boveda packs. Is that a thing? Or I'm like, just go buy you another one, right? I mean, they're $5. Just go buy you another one. But so is that thing we're telling people not to do?
So I will definitely, we do not suggest doing that. And I will preface what I'll tell you by saying, if you're spending hundreds or thousands of dollars on your cigars, right? In the best way to ensure precise humidity is to just switch out your Boveda packs, right? They're $5 a piece. They're $20 a piece for 320s. Like just switch them out when you need them. You know, it's not worth trying to regenerate them. I've heard people tell me that they have, and some people have had some success with it. And I've seen some stuff on socials, people doing it. One of the biggest things is you won't always have precise humidity when you decide to do that, right? You can end up having microbial growth, right? Because you're submerging them in water. So you can get some microbial growth that can damage your cigars. They could get, what can end up happening is you could get shards of salt that are left behind, right? From the solution, the salt water solution, right? Uh-huh. You can get those left behind. And if they puncture the membrane that they're inside of that only allows the water vapor to be emitted, right? Then you can end up with water on your cigars, which will damage your cigars. There's a lot of reasons not to do it. And the biggest one being is, dude, if you're going to spend thousands of dollars on your cigar collection, why would you chance it to doing something like that when you can just buy a new Boveda pack?
Right.
See, Justin, where's Paige Turner when we need her? We've talked about propylene glycol. JP's throwing out all them fancy words that we need our chemist, our
we have a resident chemist who will be coming back on. All right. So okay. Finally, one more question. One more question about the product, and then it's RASSLIN. That's wrestling. Okay. So, what can you talk about? What can our listeners be looking forward to from Boveda, say in the next 6 months or year or whatever? What you guys got on tap? Maybe that our people need to keep an eye out for.
That.
Yeah. He's pointing to the Boveda humidor. It's a wooden humidor. It's absolutely beautiful. And you guys were doing a giveaway of one of those that was signed by everybody at the PCA.
Actually, 4 of them.
4 of them. And I told JP if we won it, Justin, he had to sign it because it wouldn't be worth a damn if it didn't have him and Mike's signature on it.
You guys are too kind, man. I'm not that cool.
No, 100% you are. But no, those humidors, you can get them on the website. And they're absolutely beautiful humidors.
Yeah, they punch well above their weight, man, as long as we're talking about like combat sports, right? They punch well above their weight. It's a phenomenal humidor. It can fit anywhere between about 40 to 70 cigars, depending on the Vitola. That's one 320 gram pack that comes with it when you receive it. It also comes with 3 84% so that you can season it first.
Okay.
But it also comes equipped with a 320 gram 69. The 69 in there will last 6 months plus, man. That thing is built like a Tupperware.
Wow.
But it's just absolutely beautiful. It's sexy. The engineering behind it is no joke, man. But it's an inexpensive humidor for what you get out of it, and it's definitely our kind of pride and joy, and we're very, very happy about it.
That's right.
All right, man. So,
all right, Justin, ring the bell, sucker.
So here we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, so as we begin our wrestling talk, so JP is stationed up there in Minnesota. As I was telling him, a lot of us, Tulsa boys, Oklahoma boys, we were familiar with Mid-South, with Georgia Championship Wrestling, but Georgia Championship Wrestling became pretty much national when TBS, remember JP, I don't know if you would, on Saturday nights at 6:05, you tune into Georgia Championship Wrestling, but you guys come down from from that Minnesota way. And so let's kind of start very briefly. So kind of your experience in wrestling, and then kind of, you know, how you got into it. A lot of us just got into it. We just watched it on TV and just kept watching.
Yeah, man. So our father, my dad, he worked at the Minneapolis Convention Center, and he was around AWA, and AWA became one of the best known and most notable of the territories in pro wrestling. And back when there was the multiple territories, whatever it was, 6 or 8 of them throughout the United States.
Yeah.
And a lot of the big names came through there. And so when we were children, and I was very young, so I have some of these, I don't know what you want to call them, like almost like vague memories of meeting like Jerry Blackwell, the Crusher, man, the list goes on, but these are like the big names of wrestling back in the 80s, you know?
Was that like Nick Bockwinkel?
Oh, God, yeah, Nick Bockwinkel, a lot of those guys, man. And so our dad worked there, and my brother remembers this more than I do because I'm pretty sure I was a baby at the time. Crusher had a like cash in the bag match that was basically what we know as like a ladder match now.
Okay.
It's like a bag of cash that was suspended up above, and you had to go up and get it. And he won his match, but he's all bloodied up and sweaty. And he got into the elevator with my father and my brothers and myself, and he knew our dad by name. So he was like,
oh my gosh.
And he's, like I said, bloodied up and sweaty, still wearing his tights and his, you know, his wrestling boots and everything. And he's like, hey, John, that's my dad. He's like, hey, John, how you doing, buddy? And my dad was like, oh, Crusher, good to see you, my friend. You know, and it was just like, it's one of those things that like my brother can talk to a little bit more, you know, speak to more than I can, just because I have like a very vague recollection of it. But like, that's just one of those things that sticks with you. But dude, we've been around pro wrestling since we were kids, man. Like, we don't have anybody in our family that was ever a pro wrestler, but like, we just grew up with it, and our dad had an affinity for it when we were children. And so my first, I guess I would say like one of my very first real memories of wrestling was that made me like a massive wrestling fan was WrestleMania 6, which for a lot of people, you know, Hogan versus Warrior, you know, for the title, that was absolutely insane. Right. And so that was it for me. And, you know, I kind of hit the ground running, and I've always been a huge fan, dude. I had favorites growing up. Like Brutus the Barber Beefcake was one of my favorites when I was a kid. You know, I love the Rockers, you know, God, Jake the Snake Roberts was really cool. Dude, I could go up and down the list. There was so many good wrestlers. Macho Man, yeah. You know, like all these guys.
And, and the Rockers, remember they came out of Mid-South, and they were the Midnight Rockers when they were at UWF and Mid-South and all that. You know, I just loved how they, you know, but now those not to be confused with the Rock and Roll Express.
No, that was our boys down here. I've never bought so many damn tiger stripe bandanas in my life to tie around my legs so I could be like the Rock and Roll Express, man. Those were some Mid-South boys right there.
Those guys are fabulous Freebirds, right? Like these were like the OGs, right? Like these are the guys that put tag team wrestling on the map, that made it sexy to be a tag team wrestler.
Right.
Yeah. Now, did the Legion of Doom come out of Minnesota? I always feel like the Road Warriors came. Okay, yeah, and now
they're Chicago boys. They're Chicago boys, but they'll also tell you that they're like what do you call it? Honorary Minnesotans, dude.
Okay.
Like they're big time. But yeah, that's another one, right? The Road Warriors. Those guys were big time, man. I remember their God damn it, was that Starrcade '87 where they did the Skywalkers match? Do you guys remember that?
Yes.
With the scaffolding.
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude, that was freaking terrifying. As like again, in '87 I was 3 years old, but I remember. I used to as I got a little bit older, I started buying VHSs of old pay-per-views. Coliseum Video, you guys remember those?
Coliseum Video, right on, man.
I was buying up videos at every video store I ever went to as a kid. Like, you know, when a lot of other kids are buying whatever skateboards or, you know, Hot Wheels or shit that they were into, you know. One of my favorite things was Ninja Turtles action figures, and then buying up VHSs of old like WCW, NWA, WWF stuff. It was okay. That was for me.
Okay, I got to stop right here. So Shawn,
yes, sir.
Paige was looking at our Four Johns T-shirt, and for some reason you have, speaking of Ninja Turtles, you have Leonardo as a tattoo on your arm.
I don't actually have that. That must have been some sort of design flaw with. But hey, I'll take it. You know, look, I'm not opposed to it. I love the Turtles.
I just want to get the straight story from Shawn. So everyone who sees our Four John shirt, you'll see that Ninja Turtle So what is actually in its place? Like, what should be there?
I have no idea. I'd have to look.
Okay.
But I will say, if it was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, it would be Michelangelo, because he was always my favorite, and he loved pizza. So that listen, I didn't get this girlish figure from not liking pizza. So
my wife and I have 2 cats that came out of the same litter. They're brothers. One's a long hair and one's a short hair, but they look the same. But their names are Raphael and Donatello.
Oh,
there you go. Yeah.
Woo.
Okay. So all right. So we just a brief stopover. You said Ninja Turtles. Oh yeah. So did you ever experience later on? Like movie theaters would start showing like WrestleMania. Like you could pay and watch it in the theater. Did you ever do that?
Vince McMahon, don't hate me, man. Or Ted Turner. We had a pirate box.
Yeah.
Yeah, we stole everything, dude.
My gosh, man!
Like you'd have to like click the back, every now and again. If it got fuzzy or like white noise, you'd have to click the back, and it would up and work for like an hour, and then you'd have to go do it again. We had like one of the cheaper ones, but yeah, man, like. Look, we were, my mother and father were, Lebanese immigrants. Like we didn't come from a lot of money, so paying even that nominal fee at the time for a pay-per-view just wasn't in the cards, man. So we used our pirate box to do it. Yeah.
So when I first met Justin, we were in broadcasting school together, and one of the things we'd do is I'd take him to run errands on Mondays, and we would go and we'd have a cigar, a Punch Maduro at the pouch.
Yep.
And then we would go to his house. We called him Digipock at the time because he had 2 digital boxes, so we could watch WCW on one TV and WWF on the other TV. So we didn't have to flip back and forth. So.
During the Monday Night Wars. So did you ever get into, probably my favorite at the time was did you ever get into ECW?
Oh, come on, man.
Come on, Tommy Dreamer.
You can't be a pro wrestling fan and not have had like ECW be up there for you, man. My brother and I went to a couple shows in St. Paul here.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we went to, I think it was December to Remember in 90. Fuck, man, when was that? Paul Heyman would have to let me know what this is. I can't remember the year.
Yeah.
I think it was like 98, 99 or something like that. It was
Yeah.
Jerry Lynn versus Rob Van Dam for the title.
And the Van Dam Terminator. Do you remember that? Where he stacked those chairs and do that?
The Van Daminator, yeah.
Yeah, man.
I think he had multiple moves though, didn't he? He had the Van Daminator. He had a bunch of different moves.
Yeah. And and he made everybody. He'd always make everybody. Because he would always get on the mic and say, "I'd love to work on Monday nights," because ECW usually came on like Tuesday or Thursday on on ESPN of all things.
Yeah, and see now you guys have a little bit more pull over there at Boveda than we do, JP. But I've tried to reach out to Matt Cardona. I believe I'm saying his name right a couple times because he's married to Chelsea Green, big WWE superstar. He loves cigars, and so I was like, man, that would be so cool to talk to one of these wrestlers. Like obviously Cody Rhodes loves cigars, and
it was just on the most recent Cigar Aficionado cover.
Yeah, and funny enough, I got a message. So for WrestleMania, Randy Orton ordered 2 boxes of the Padron Fuente Opus X collab. He ordered 2 boxes for Cody and sent them. And the note said, cementing our legacy together. And I thought, man, that is so cool.
Very cool, dude. Yeah, I heard about that. That's really cool, man. A lot more wrestlers are cigar smokers than people realize. Like a lot of them. Like Orton's a big one. Cody, I believe, I don't know if he still is, but I could have sworn Cody and Frankie Kazarian own Rebellion cigars.
Yeah.
Not Rebellion. What's it called? No, not Rebellion.
I know they make the American Nightmare cigar.
American Rebel? Is that what it's called?
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Wow.
Rebel. Yeah. So, Kazarian's obviously a big cigar guy. Cody's a cigar guy. A lot of guys are. I forgot who was posted a photo the other day on Instagram. It was like 5 or 6 wrestlers that were all smoking a cigar together on a patio or something.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we can't forget about Tiffany Stratton. She smokes cigars.
Yeah, because Liv Morgan was just on a podcast with Cody Rhodes, and Cody handed her a cigar, and it cracked me up because he goes, now, Liv, you don't smoke this like a J. And I lost it. I started cracking up. Because they're like in front of a live studio audience, and I'm just like, dude, Cody's the man.
I love it. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. So, all right. So you guys, you made it through the, the 83 weeks and all that, And it was so great to see them, so that's where a lot of people got to know Jack and Jerry Briscoe and a lot of those guys like that, who also I do believe came through the AWA.
Yeah.
And but the guys that my crew are going to remember most from AWA is like Bruiser Brody, and what is it, Abdullah the Butcher.
Yep.
And kind of that generation. Again, they were on ESPN as well. ESPN has not many people really know, and because I used to watch AWA on ESPN, and I used to watch World Class Championship Wrestling, from Dallas, and now they have that big deal with WWE, so their ESPN has a much longer wrestling history than most people would like to admit, I guess, or whatever. But so I did want to mention we lost Ted Turner, and who, by the way, was just instrumental in so many of our wrestling lives. And Saturday night 6:05. Remember, all his shows came on 5 minutes after the hour. So if you didn't like what was on TV on the other stations, you could tune in at 6:05. And that was his strategy. For doing that. So did you guys have TBS up there?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we sure did.
Oh, so you grew up watching Gordon Soley and Tommy Wildflower Rich and all those guys?
Absolutely, dude. Yeah. I mean, I was young. I was on the younger end, man, but I still remember all this stuff. It's weird. Like, I was definitely on the younger end. I didn't start. I would say that, like, as far as what I can recollect, I was probably around 4 years old. So I would say, like, it's probably around like 87 is when I began to know what I was watching and remember it,
right,
and have like really vivid memories of them that I can again recall now. But some of these guys, I know of them now just because there's documentaries and things that have come out over the years, that kind of like delve into careers and their paths or whatever you want to call it, through the industry. But man, it's there's just there's so much we could talk about when it comes to pro wrestling that I could take hours.
Oh, I know. So JP, I have a theory about have you watched the Netflix documentary Unreal?
Yes.
Okay, so here's my theory about that. So at no point that I'm aware of is TKO ever mentioned in Unreal. And as far as I'm aware, maybe I'm wrong, but see, here's what I think. I think Unreal is a work as well. That is to say, because TKO makes them sign wrestlers or fire wrestlers and stuff like that. Unreal acts like Triple H is, running everything or creative. And so I think I just want to see what you thought about this. I think Unreal is a work.
It very well could be. I'm sure, it's, getting from behind the curtain, you know what I mean? Like, I know Vince was always vehemently against this, and breaking kayfabe and all that kind of fun stuff. I'm sure that some of what, is in the show is real life, right? But you might be onto something as far as, you know what I mean? Like, some of that stuff actually being a work, you know what I mean? Like, it's written into a script, right? There's certain things that they do or do not want to divulge, right? There's certain things you don't want people to just look at wrestling and go, oh man, it's all scripted and it's all bullshit and it's all fake. You know what I mean? Like, the young kid in all of us, right? Or teenager in all of us is like, wait, that wasn't real. Like, that wasn't his real persona. Like, that's not who he really was, So I get where you're coming from, and that very well could be the case. I don't know if I necessarily have like an opinion on it one way or another, whether or not I believe it's a work or not, but it was cool to watch for sure.
Oh yeah.
Well, and it's like the one Unreal, because I love Seth freaking Rollins, and the one that they had with him, and when he supposedly had the injury and stuff, I think it was at WrestleMania. But his daughter, I guess, accidentally let it slip to her teacher that basically dad was not really, he was just playing pretend. And they had to like get her like, man, you got to like, do not let any of this out and stuff. So, I mean, I think some of it, you know, but even Paul Heyman has been on there a few times and he's refused to kind of talk about it. He seems like he genuinely does not like kind of letting the cat out of the bag, if you will. JP, Josh just sat down. He owns the establishment that we're at here at Bourbon and Ash.
Bourbon and Ash.
And so we'll kind of ask him a few questions here in a minute. But we were talking about, you know, JP brought up the Rockers. I was watching Shawn Michaels' biography the other night, and the Rockers could not have been a better name for that tag team, because I'm still not quite sure who did more cocaine, the Rockers or the Ultimate Warrior. But man,
oh, come on, dude, that's the fucking Warrior for sure. Are you kidding me? Come on, dude, go back and watch any of his promos, and tell me if you can decipher anything he's trying to say.
I'm like, dude, they were hanging out with Rick Springfield backstage, and they just had those little Coke spoons. I swear that's what the Warrior did, man, is he just hit it, jumped out of the shower, and took off running to the ring. But Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty, they sure like to party too, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. And obviously, like, I don't know anything about their lives or any of that kind of crap. I'm obviously joking around about all these guys. I'm not gonna cast aspersions on anybody, you know, like. I am so thankful for having that as part of my upbringing, you know, and being able to be entertained by these guys that.
Oh yeah.
Like, and I'm not saying you guys are either, but like, the last thing I want to do is like insult these guys for anything, you know what I mean, that we got out of them for all those years. But yeah, man, like the promos from Macho Man and Ultimate Warrior and Hogan, and you go down the list, man.
Yeah.
Like, these guys were so damn entertaining that like. No, and the thing is, like, I remember, you can even now look at some of the stuff with Mean Gene, you know, where like he'd swear at these guys or get mad at him because they went off script or said something that was too improvisational, and it's really funny to watch. But yeah, I love that stuff. One of my favorite. So not to go off on a tangent, but Chris Van Vliet has one of the best podcasts for pro wrestling that there is out there, and he just had Will Sasso and Dan Soder, who are both fantastic impersonators. They're comedians. And they just did a recent interview, dude, where like Chris couldn't get a word in edgewise because those guys were going back and forth doing Macho Man and Hulk Hogan and a couple other dudes. And they're spot on impressions of these guys. But I was dying laughing watching that episode.
Well, and the kind of sacredness of all this is because thankfully, a lot of these biographies that you're able to see, I mean, like Shawn Michaels talks about his struggle with addiction and how Triple H, you know, kind of really brought him back. And,
God, yeah.
And like that match when he beat Ric Flair, I think it was one of Flair's last match, and he looked at him and says, "I love you," and then he gives him Sweet Chin Music, right? But I love kind of even before The Rock started using Jabroni, he reached out to the Iron Sheik's family and was like, "Hey, is it cool if I use this?" What's the guy's Kevin Owens that does the kind of the Stone Cold Stunner? I got the right name there, Justin?
Yeah, that's Kevin Owens.
He kind of got Stone Cold's permission and was like, "Hey, can I kind of use this?" And so I kind of like that there is that kind of sacredness, you know, honor among thieves there and stuff. So
yeah, man, for sure. It's really cool seeing things basically get passed down from one generation to the next, you know, and like you think about what all these guys meant to wrestling, right? Like without Hogan, I don't believe that like Macho Man's persona would be what it is, or even the Iron Sheik or any of the guys that came after them, you know, Slaughter and all these guys. They basically at the time were like, I feel like they were like the OGs, right? They started the fire, right?
Yeah.
Like they were the Flint, if you will. And then every generation that came after that was drawing upon some of the promo skills and even the personas of these guys to become who they are and kind of put their own stamp on what pro wrestling was going to be or become. And it's cool, man. Like it's fun to continue watching it, continue to grow and see all these different characters come about and, you know, how they pay, homage or homage to, you know, their predecessors.
Yeah.
Sorry. All right. So speaking of that, with all the new characters, yes or no on Danhausen?
Oh, it's a huge yes. Are you kidding me? Yeah,
See,
come on. Danhausen, look,
yes.
I can understand how people think like Danhausen's entire thing is just like it's too weird and funny and all that kind of crap, you know, but like he's good for pro wrestling, man. Like there's so many kids who watch pro wrestling too, to think about. Like I feel like not only can a lot of us who are on the older end of the things, who have been watching wrestling since the 80s, can look at him and appreciate what his persona is and like what he brings to the table.
Mm-hmm.
But so many kids that, like, especially now with Cena kind of being out of the picture, he feels like a void or a gap that you know what I mean, like just hadn't been filled. And also, dude, the amount of freaking merch that he sells,
man.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason why he's around, man, and why he, like has such a big stage for himself, like on the indies, and AEW. Like he was, I feel like he wasn't used well in AEW. I feel like he was misused in AEW. He's an undersized guy, right? Yeah. Which AEW has almost nothing but undersized guys, right? But there is a place for him in WWE. Like, he is entertaining, he's fun. I think he's a good steward for pro wrestling. Whether or not people like love his shtick, that's totally subjective.
And all the little down housings that come out with him and stuff, that's great. To me, it almost gives me like an Eddie Munster vibe. It kind of reminds me of the Munsters, and his theme music is kind of, yeah, I think his theme music, he is even kind of paying homage to that stuff, And but yeah, I love him, Justin. I don't think you're a big fan of him.
Well,
but I love him.
No, yeah, I'm not a big fan, only because I think some of those bits kind of go on too long. Like, I'd rather get back to the matches, but I certainly get what he's about and all that. So all right, so I have to know then too, JP. Yes or no? Did you see SmackDown? Did you see the funeral for the Gingerbread Man?
Yeah.
Now that was too long, and that was
that may have drug on too long. Yes.
Yeah, what I'm saying, like, it's like telling a funny joke and then telling it again and again and again. So I was like, oh man, so of course. We are not only are we working our way to SummerSlam, which is kind of the summer's biggest event, but of course
JP's going to be there.
Yeah, he is, and so we are also this Sunday is Clash in Italy. JP, I have to get what are some of your predictions, if you have any, of winners of winners?
You guys got to tell me the matches again. I don't know if one of you guys can look them up, but look. We talked about this earlier, man. I think Roman versus Jacob is going to be really cool. I hope, obviously, I have to imagine that the Usos might take some part in that. I don't know if Jacob's going to have anybody who kind of comes in and helps him a little bit. But that tribal combat match should be a lot of fun. Obviously, they're cousins, so like there's a certain amount of cohesion, right, between those guys. And even though they haven't wrestled a ton in WWE, right, I think that's going to be. Backlash was super cool. It was a really fun match. I think that'll be a really good one. Overall, I think it'll be really great, dude. When they did Clash in Paris, holy crap! Every time they do a premium live event in a different country, whether it's London or wherever they do it, my God, those crowds are so effing hot.
Yeah,
like it's crazy. They're chanting the entire time. They're popping for everybody. They're chanting everybody's song or singing along to everybody's song or humming. Like, dude, I wish it was that way. There are some dead crowds here in the United States. There are some specific cities where it's worse than others. Cleveland. Since I wish that wasn't the case. And even, like, there are even times where I go to shows in Minneapolis where I'm like, come on, man, like we should be popping more for this,
Okay.
Well, and speaking of the Road Warriors, they're the ones that invented the pop, right? That's where the pop kind of came from. I know Hulk used to get it and stuff, but everyone kind of used to refer to that as a Road Warrior pop when that crowd would pop like that. So I've got some of the matches here. We got Cody Rhodes versus Gunther, Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill, Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu, Becky Lynch and is it Sol Ruka, and Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. Dude, look, this crop of young wrestlers it's unreal, man. I feel like every couple years, the new crop is slightly more athletic, slightly more, it's like it can do a little bit more in the air, as far as aerials and things like that. Like, it's pretty incredible. Like, between AAA, which that's the best thing in pro wrestling right now, man. Holy crap, The Undertaker, the stuff they're doing in AAA, dude. If you all don't watch AAA, you are missing out. It's incredible wrestling. AEW does really cool shit too, don't get me wrong, but AAA is really, really cool. But the young crop of wrestlers right now, man, Sol Ruca and the list goes on, that are making their way up to WWE from NXT. You look at guys like Trick Williams and Oba Femi. I mean, dude, pro wrestling is in a really good place, man. As some of these guys are in their twilight of their career, I think they could rest well knowing that, you know, pro wrestling is in an incredible place. But as far as like these matches, I think Rhea's probably going to win. I think Rhea will win that match. I think it should be a pretty good match. And look, I want to give Jade Cargill a lot of credit, dude. From her time in AEW and even her early days in WWE, her matches are far and away better than they've ever been. She's a great worker now. She sells moves really well. Like I just love what she does. Rhea Ripley is, to me, by the time she's done wrestling, will be the best ever.
Yeah.
You know, I love Charlotte and what she's done for pro wrestling, and obviously, you know, being the daughter of Ric Flair, you know, she's always kind of sort of been in his shadow. I feel like she stepped out of his shadow over the last 5 years or so with him being out of the picture. But you know, 14-time world champion, you can never take that from her. But Rhea's awesome. I think she'll win that match. I think Cody's gonna win.
Yeah.
I think he'll take that over Gunther. What am I missing? Oh, Brock versus Oba, dude. Justin and I were talking about that earlier, man. That's a hard one, man, because Oba to me is like the second coming of Brock, which is part of the reason why his first real feud in WWE is him and Brock, because Brock is the original next best thing, or next big thing, and I feel like Oba is the new next big thing, and he's also a cross between that and like Goldberg,
right?
Because you think about how people do the Oba, Oba, like it's got Brock and Goldberg written all over it.
Yeah.
I was saying earlier, I think Oba could do a shooting star press if he wanted to. He's that athletic.
Yeah.
I actually thought he was going to do one to Brock at WrestleMania, the way that Brock did to Kurt Angle when he won the title. Like his first title, I thought he was going to do one to Brock as almost like a passing of the torch, which in a sense, him beating him was a passing of the torch. But dude, I don't know which way that's going to go. I feel like because Brock put him over at Mania, that Oba might put on a really great match where they beat the shit out of each other, and then Brock maybe takes it. Could be a schmoz finish in some sort of way. I don't know, man, but that'll be a fun one too.
So I'm gonna get a couple of questions over here to Josh, but I wanted to ask you real quick before we kind of put a pause on the wrestling talk. Is Justin kind of has a theory, if you will, that the next wrestler that Gunther is going to retire will be Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know if Brock wants that.
Yeah, that'll be the thing if Brock wants that, you know. But I think that's going to make Gunther like the ultimate heel, and then everybody he faces after that, basically, because it would not surprise me to see Gunther retire Seth Rollins.
Down the road, I could see it.
Yeah.
And Seth doesn't want to wrestle forever, right? Like there are other things he wants to do. Dude, he and Becky just started their own coffee roasting company.
Ammo Coffee. We need to get them some Boveda packs for that coffee.
There's a lot they want to do. Like Seth has been on Good Morning Football on NFL Network, and he's a phenomenal contributor to that, dude. Like, you want to talk about somebody who works really hard? Yeah. He doesn't bullshit. He knows what he's talking about. When he steps onto that stage, man, and he sits behind that desk, it's really fun to watch. He's a funny dude. He's well spoken. He articulates what he wants to say. Like, I know he's a Bears fan, and I hate that because I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan, but
and a Cubs fan.
Yeah, but like he's talked about it, how he loves commentating for the NFL. So that's something that I think he'll continue to do well beyond his time with WWE. Obviously, he's got Black and the Brave, which is his wrestling school that's been around a long time now. He's got a lot he wants to do. I don't know if I see him going past 45 because I think he's 41 now.
Yeah.
I don't see him going past 45. If he does, it might just be a random match here and there until he just gets retired. But like Gunther is like the new legend killer, right? Like he took over for Randy. They basically reprised that role in WWE, which I think is really cool. I love Gunther. I think he's a phenomenal wrestler. He's been around way longer than people in WWE even know. Like he's been around a long time, wrestling on indies. He's been the guy in England for a long time. So anyway.
All right,
Oh, yeah.
Josh. So
Okay,
we'll kind of
Josh.
put a pause on the WWE. Now, I will say, Josh did text me. He watched the Hogan documentary and he liked it. But so it's been a few episodes, Josh, since we've been out here at Bourbon and Ash. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what's new, what's kind of going on, what we got coming up? Kind of fill all the listeners in that love to come out here and be patrons of your establishment here. What's going on out here at Bourbon and Ash?
The biggest thing is stability-wise, we've got one more. We're trying to get LFD cigars in, and we'll be super happy with that. I'm really hoping in the next week we find out about that.
And that's what JP's smoking right now. He has an LFD. Which one was it, JP?
I'm smoking the Apollonia, the TAA release.
Very nice. Yeah, we're hoping we can close that out. So if anybody knows anybody within them, say, yes, you need to bring them here. That's my favorite cigar by far. So to have it here would be awesome. And then, like I said, we've got a bunch of gift packs for Father's Day. We're going to give one away. It's an Oliva 5-pack. We got some other cigars we're going to give away today.
Yeah, we're going to do that here in a minute. Camacho sent us from Camacho sent an ashtray. We've got a tuber Gordo pack, and we've got the Deadwoods Dominicana Buenos Noches. We've got the CAO Habano flathead, and a couple other sticks we're going to give away here in a minute to people that have been coming out and kind of entering into the Smokin Sounds drawing. But we're always very appreciative of you letting us set up out here and record. You're always so gracious to us and just letting us kind of do what we do here. So we do thank you for that.
So Josh, this is Bourbon and Ash. So anything new on the bourbon side that some of our people like the Dram Amateur should know about?
Well, one thing that we posted online that is very, very hard to get is the Woodford, and people always mess this up. We have the double oaked, we always do. We have the regular Woodford, but we have the Woodford double oaked.
Wow.
We have 2 bottles. One of them is on the death throes. It's almost gone. We've got one left, and that one is, I'm not a big bourbon snob, but I drank that one and I was like, holy, it's really good. So that one, that's probably for allocated wise. We've got another couple of bottles of Penelope Rio, which is another pretty hard one to get. Yeah. So those are kind of our allocated. The rest of them is just staying. To be honest, it's summertime. Everybody, buckles down. Got to watch your, because people have got summer trips. The economy's kind of hurting a little bit on the cigar part. People are buying a little bit cheaper cigars, and we see that, and we understand it. So it just is what you got to adapt and make sure your customers are taken care of.
So the Camacho Rubicons, the Cohiba Rubicons is a great buy right now.
Absolutely.
That's a great cigar. So JP, and I wanted to ask you, because that was another question from one of our listeners, is what's kind of your favorite pairings whenever you're having a cigar?
Oh man, geez, there's a lot of them. Dude, honestly, like for me, in the mornings when I'm lighting one up, I'm a big fan of like, a Connecticut shade and an espresso, whether it's like a Lebanese coffee, or Turkish style coffee, or an Ecuadorian Habano, I think probably pairs a little bit better with it. But like, if you've ever had like a Henry Clay Warhawk with an espresso, dude, it's phenomenal. Same thing with like Monte Cristo White, a phenomenal. And these are both relatively inexpensive cigars that are just really great with coffee. So for me, that's big time. If I'm gonna do like a brown, a brown alcohol, whether it's bourbon or scotch or whiskey of some kind, or like a Japanese whiskey, I generally will need something that's going to be kind of medium to full body to kind of combat it, but I also really enjoy an Amaro with like an Oscuro or a Maduro or a Cameroon, Sumatra, something along those lines. But like Amaros, ports, things like that. These are things that a lot of people don't think about, when they're thinking about like, I feel like it's specifically almost always like brown alcohols, right? People are like, oh, it's got to be a whiskey or it's got to be a scotch, right? Especially for the purists. Like, dude, if y'all have never had an Amaro with one of those, medium to full body cigars, or a port or something along those lines, and even some like stronger reds, like there are some really delicious reds that go with cigars as well. So yeah, man, there's a lot of good options.
So now, did you get a chance to try the new Moonflower from Crowned Heads?
That's the first cigar that I had when I was, I think it was the first cigar that I had before we walked onto the floor. And it was an unbanded one. Dude, fantastic cigar. Yeah. Like John and Tim, like everything those guys do, like OZ Family Cigars, Osgoner Family Cigars are fantastic. Everything from Crowned Heads is fantastic. They're good people. they're just, again, speaking of great stewards of the industry, they're such good people. That Moonflower is fantastic. So anybody watching, dude, go get one. Seriously.
Oh, Sean would absolutely agree.
I've got one left that John gave me at PCA, and I have not smoked it yet because I'm waiting for Josh to get them in so I can buy like 17,000 boxes of them from him. But they John and Tim just did a new episode of the Ozhead, and the new Ozinger, the Oz family cigar, is it called the Americana or America or something like that? He basically he said that he kind of blended that after the CAO Brasilia.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite, because from
Really
what
good.
I've been told, and if I'm obviously if I'm wrong, please correct me if you're listening or if you guys know, but that was kind of like the real last cigar that the family blended before they left CAO, was that Brasilia. That's kind of the last cigar that the family had, and that's a fantastic cigar. That Brazilian or wrapper on it is just fantastic.
Okay, so I want to jump in here real quick because, again, I want to keep everybody on the same page because I don't know, because I was born and raised in Oklahoma. What is Amaro?
Dude, I can't even begin to talk about it because I'm gonna say the wrong fucking thing and then get in trouble. I mean,
do you know what it is, Josh?
I do not.
Okay, so Josh, the proprietor of Bourbon and Ash, doesn't know either. So
Yeah.
so lay it on us.
I believe that Amaro is just like an aged wine.
Okay.
Like it's like I believe it's a style of wine.
Okay.
But no, actually, I think I might be wrong about that.
Well, I guess we have to Google that because I tell you what,
and I don't want to be wrong about it, so I'm like, I don't know, so I'm not going to say.
Because I tell you, the old-fashioned brandy in cigars is I think people have moved away from that, and I think they should move back toward that because you get all the power of the taste of the brandy, but maybe if you want to limit your alcohol a little bit, because brandy is just wine that's been aged in barrels.
Is it Amaro Montenegro? Is that what he's talking
Oh
about?
God, that's a good one.
Yeah, he said that's a good. Yeah.
So it's just a liqueur, so it's like an herbal liqueur.
Yeah.
So
Okay. See, I knew there would be at least a couple of the listeners and me who didn't know what it was.
saying I'm not brilliant, or Google may have helped a little.
Dude, as soon as I said it's an aged wine, I'm like, no, that's wrong, dude. I'm going to keep going down this path so I look like an idiot.
I'll tell
Probably
you,
already do look like an idiot, and that's all right.
I'll tell you, it's another ones that are really good. I got them actually as a sampler. Have you had any of the little nubs? They've got the. I'm not usually kind of a nub fan, but I mean, the Maduro, the Cameroon, even the Connecticut. I mean, it's good morning, like you were talking about having one in the morning.
Yeah.
Just a short little cigar with a cup of coffee or something. Those are really, really good.
Oh, dude, the Olivas are fantastic for that.
Yeah, I love the nub nuance because it
Got a little bit of coffee flavor.
Yeah, it has a coffee flavor. Yeah.
Those sell really well here.
Oh,
Yeah,
I bet.
So
they have like single, double, triple, right, or what they're called. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
So have you guys had any odd requests over at Boveda? Like people have had like odd requests for your packs or anything like that kind of comes to mind? You may not have. I just thought that'd be a fun question to ask.
You know, one of the things that I think that we hear a lot is people asking when they, like even our customers, like our accounts that we work with, right? They'll ask us, they're like, and you guys also have like butane and like beads and stuff, right? And I'm like, no, we're Boveda. Like, we don't sell other humidifiers, or you know what I mean, or other kinds of systems. So that's one. I would say the other one that we get asked for a lot is to create a larger humidor. And when I say larger, I'm talking about like a tower humidor.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
That is Boveda. That is powered by Boveda, which we don't have a Boveda pack big enough for a tower humidor for 3,000 cigars or whatever that is. So, that's definitely one that we get a request for a lot.
Well, and I love because the gentleman that does Pravada Cigars and the Limited Cigar Association, all that.
Ryan DeCend, yeah.
I love that he has like these big like igloo ice chests that is just all these cigars are aging in them, and it's all powered by Boveda. I've seen a couple of videos with Brian online and stuff, and I think that's so cool that you can just throw, like you said, you just throw a couple of these humidity packs in there, and all these cigar brands, they kind of going back to what Jay said, you've got to have a product that you can trust, because they're shipping cigars all over the world, and most of them, if I'm not mistaken, have Boveda packs in them to keep them fresh until they're in humidors.
Yeah, we're very fortunate to have a lot of really great partners when it comes to packaging with Boveda, whether it's manufacturers putting them in their boxes before they ship out to the end destination, and ensuring that it's the proper humidity level for those cigars and that the end consumer has a perfect smoking experience from the beginning. But they don't have to worry about putting it into into their humidor for 3 weeks or 6 weeks or whatever to get it to the right humidity before they can enjoy them. Right. So that's a good thing. We have a lot of partners that also ship with Boveda. So we're talking about cigar subscriptions. We're talking about any e-tailer. There's a lot of e-tailers that we work with. Actually, most of them in the United States use Boveda packs when they're shipping out, 2 cigars, 5 cigars, whatever a customer's purchasing. And so we're very fortunate for that. We're very thankful for it. I make it a point to always talk about how important they are to Boveda and our success. And we appreciate it so much.
And let me just throw in here. So a product idea, and so don't listen to me. I want like a big acrylic jar, like with a space for a Boveda pack at the bottom. That way the humidity comes up through all this. That can hold maybe a pound of tobacco or something like that. So, if you need product ideas, that probably won't work. I'm your guy.
So you're saying instead of a Cigar Bros humidor, you need a Pipe Bros humidor, like a thing that you could. So I did want to ask that because I know a lot of the pipe makers, tobacco makers and stuff. Do they use a lot of Boveda humidity packs and stuff?
God, yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely, dude. Like anybody who smokes pipe, most of those people are using Boveda packs in their loose tobacco.
Excellent.
Now, do you recommend the same 69% humidity, or does it just kind of vary on?
Generally, generally 69. But again, it comes down to the prerogative of the end consumer, right? And that's one thing. And I'm glad you brought this up. That's one of the things that we try to drive home with every consumer is don't let anyone, and Josh, this isn't any offense to you, I want to preface this. Like I always tell people, it's ultimately up to the end consumer which relative humidity they use, right? It's up to you if you want 65 or 69 or 72, right? And in some circumstances 75 if you're in a mountainous region or a desert region or somewhere that has very dry, it's very dry. But it just comes down to the end consumer's preferences, and so we always tell people, try 65s, try 69s, try 72s, see what you prefer and use that humidity percentage. Because some people's friends, they might read an article online, they might go to a tobacconist, and they might tell them, this is what you use. This is the humidity you use because this is what I use, right? But I always tell people, I'm like, dude, just use what you want. If you've got multiple vessels, whether it's even Ziploc bags, right, that you can put a 65, a 69, and a 72% pack inside of for 3 weeks, whatever, if you're willing to do it. We call it the Boveda Challenge, You can you could smoke each of the same cigar under all those different relative humidities, and you will have a slightly different experience. So it just comes down to the prerogative of the end consumer. It's like, hey, man, choose what works best for you.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Well, Josh, why don't you pull our winner for the Smokin Sounds giveaway? I'm going to give you the honors of pulling out the winner.
Are you doing it all in one pack? Are you doing it all at once?
Do you want to do? Yeah, well, we can do ours, and then are you giving away the Oliva one as well?
I'll do the Oliva one. I'll pull that one out now.
Yeah, we'll. So bear with us just for a second, JP. We're gonna give somebody something.
Yeah, we're giving back.
I love it.
We're trying to pretend like we're somebody.
Yeah, we do giveaways and everything.
Well, hell.
Did you win it yourself? Did you pull your own name?
No, I don't know. I'm assuming that's Kelly.
It's
one of our regulars.
Yeah,
we'll see if that's it.
It's yeah. Well, thank goodness there's a phone number on it. Yeah, KM. So we're gonna hope that's Kelly. So Kelly won the Oliva pack from Bourbon and Ash. So we will give you that back, so that can go with that.
Okay.
And then, do you want me to draw for us?
Go for it.
All right, I'm going to shake it like a Polaroid picture. Since JP's a photographer, I better throw that in there.
Nice.
All right. Now, I hope I don't draw Justin's name.
No, I shouldn't be entered. I'm not eligible to win.
The same guy won ours.
Well, there you
go. There you go.
Really?
Twofer. There you go.
Wow.
Hey, congratulations.
Kelly
he must have bought a lot of cigars.
I tell you what.
So, well, congratulations to Kelly for winning the Smokin Sounds and the Bourbon and Ash giveaway here.
Look at that. I mean, Kelly is set up now,
That's
man.
right.
I mean, my gosh.
I'll be right back.
Either that or we had it rigged. I'm not sure. You know, it's like we had a work put on or something. I don't know. But
It's a work. It's a work.
But the other thing I was
won
going to
both.
say, JP, is
Look at that, man.
So he won everything?
yeah, he won everything. Oh, we got the winner right here.
Oh, dude, look at that.
Yeah.
Live, living color. I love it.
That's right.
So is that whole pack in?
Yeah, all that too.
Hand that to me.
So, but I was telling Justin that during Backlash we were kind of texting back and forth, and we were kind of making fun of, like Braun Breaker. He kind of missed the Frankensteiner a couple of times on Seth Rollins, and Justin said that they're actually looking to go back to doing more house shows. They kind of went away from doing house shows, but they're trying to work those back in so that they can have a little bit more practice and stuff. So they're not just appearing on SmackDown or Raw, and it might kind of clean up a little bit of this. But I didn't know if I noticed it a lot especially during Backlash. It seemed like there was a lot of moves that were missed, and so I thought that was kind of funny.
It's tough, man, because like even Sol Ruka, right, with her finisher, like it's tough.
Soul
man.
Snatcher.
Yeah.
It's really tough. It's a really cool move. Obviously, over time, that's going to really mess up her back, just because it's hard on her as well. But dude, some of these moves, like especially with the like aggressiveness that like Braun, has doing the Frankensteiner and how quickly he does it, it can be easy to mess that up. Especially when you're on the ropes like that, man. Like your foot slipping that's an easy thing to have happen to you. But dude, the house shows are great, man. It gives people an opportunity. It costs a lot less for a ticket to go to one of those. You still get to see all your favorite wrestlers, and get to be there. I mean, I've been to a ton of house shows since I was a kid, so they're great. I love them.
Yeah,
I do as many as they can.
And I believe that's what kind of we grew up on, especially here with Mid-South, was all the house shows and stuff, and you got to see a lot of the wrestlers that you didn't necessarily get to see that were on TV and stuff.
Well, I remember they came to Ponca City, Oklahoma, and I got to yell at General Skandar Akbar because I hated him so much, because he betrayed Terry Taylor and all that, all that kind of stuff. But I actually got to, and he I was like, "You suck, General," and he looked over like, "What, really?" He was genuinely surprised, because I was like a 13-year-old kid, yelling at him and stuff. So, but the house shows made that possible. They made it where you could really get to know, the combatants.
Yeah, 100%.
And so JP, just got to share and so I want kind of the instant answer here, not the one you're going to think about, but so what's the most memorable house show that you've seen, back in the day?
God damn. It was probably in the early 90s at the River Center in St. Paul, which is where it used to be XL Energy Center up until this year. Now it's called Grand Casino Arena. That's where the Minnesota Wild play. It was in the River Center, which was a smaller venue. And it was my first time seeing The Undertaker in his initial form as a child. So when you're a kid and you see The Undertaker, dude, it's like this out of body experience. You know what I mean? Where you're terrified. Even now I'm getting goosebumps. You just think about that and you're like, dude, I got to see The Undertaker when everybody, including adults, were terrified of this guy, petrified of him. And they thought he was actually this man from Death Valley. You know what I mean? That you didn't want to go near, he'd kill you. Being in his presence would put you in the ground, things like that. But that to me was probably more than anything, that was the one that really stuck out to me.
Oh, wow. There you go.
And as much as Undertaker terrified me, Paul Bearer terrified me even more. There was something about that character. Yes. He, I had nightmares about that guy. The Undertaker was scary enough. Paul Bearer he was such a great component of that character. It was just perfect.
Well, see, and I knew him when he passed away. Everyone said, "Oh, Paul Bearer, the guy who played Paul." But I knew him as Percival Pringle.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So some of you old schoolers will know Percival Pringle. That's how I always knew him. I obviously but that's where I got to know him. And then of course he went and did the Paul Bearer stuff, and then with Kane and all that. But when he passed on, I was like, thus we say goodbye to Percival Pringle.
Yeah, man.
So one thing I wanted to touch on before we get out of here is, so you and Nate, you guys do the Boveda podcast, and obviously, I love John and Tim. I love Crowned Heads. That episode that you guys did with them was absolutely fantastic. So can you talk about some of the episodes that maybe you guys have planned, some stuff that's coming up for the podcast?
We've got a few different ones coming up. Obviously, the one that that we literally shot today is with Skip Martin of Roma Craft.
Ooh, I love their cigars.
Love Roma Craft. They've been massive proponents of our brand for a very long time. I mean, as far back as 2010,
Yeah.
And even before that, before he started Roma Craft, he and Michael, he has known Shawn and Tim for a really long time. And so, it was an especially nice episode. And we talked a lot about humidification of cigars in this episode, which is really, really fun. But dude, I mean, like if people haven't seen like the most recent episodes we've done over the last, 6 months to a year, there's some really, really cool stuff that we've talked about with a lot of our guests. We try really hard with our line of questioning, if you will, to just have a little bit of fun with it. Like, we want to get to know the brand. We want to know what kind of cigars they enjoy and what have been their favorites they've made over time. But we like to kind of get to the core of the human behind these brands, and have some funnies and just kind of keep it lighthearted because, dude, there's a lot of pods. And again, I'm not casting aspersions or insulting you guys or anything because I don't, you know what I mean? Like they're like what you guys do. This is fucking great. But like, there's a lot of podcasts, right? There's a lot of media out there, and it's easy to ask the same 10, 20 questions, right? It's easy to do that, right? Yes. And in many instances, like some people watch your podcast that don't watch the other, 10, 20, 30, 50 of them that are down the road, And so it's fun for us to try really hard. And we'll talk about Boveda, right? Because more often than not, it's somebody who packages with Boveda, right?
Yeah.
Like we don't, I guess, kind of hang our hat on that and talk about that the entire episode. We might touch on it for sure, but because it's important for the end consumer to know why those companies package with Boveda. Like why do you do it? Why is humidification important to your brand? Why is it important to the cigars in those boxes? And then ultimately, why is it important to the end consumer? In the response is generally the same, but in their own, in their own explanation. And it's very cool to hear them talk about that. But we try to just have fun with the people that are on our pod, man. Like we just talk about like our day to day and, like things that, memories that we've had of the industry, things that are comical or funny, things that are a little more lighthearted. And so, I would say like, as far as what's coming up, I won't say too much about it, but the Roma Craft episode will be a ton of fun.
And when is that? When will that be released?
Yeah, Roma Tobacco. I apologize. That's actually what it's not Roma Craft. It's Roma Tobacco.
Roma Tobacco.
But that should be probably the next 2 weeks. No, probably in the next month.
Okay.
Next month. Okay.
But that'll be a really fun one. But man, if you haven't seen the stuff that we did with Raquel Quesada and Juan Martinez of Hoya, as well as Quesada Cigars, that was a really fun episode. The LFD episode was a ton of fun. We were laughing our asses off the entire time.
Oh wow. Excellent.
We've had some really great guests, and we're going to have a lot more throughout the year. So yeah, please watch. It's a lot of fun.
And that's what I love about watching you guys is because you are like, we're gonna have to come up with a great tag team name for you and Nate, but that's a whole nother subject. But it's very genuine. It's not like it's like you said. It's not just about Boveda, and I love that the way that you guys make the human aspect and the questions you ask. And it's just a fun time. I love watching your episodes.
Thanks,
and then like another question, if people are listening to this and if they're a retailer that want to bring in Boveda packs, are you the guy that they contact?
Yeah, so the entire Eastern United States is mine, Ohio down, and everything to the east of the United States is Nate's. So Josh, you probably work with Nate back. But yeah, dude, if anybody is looking to carry Boveda in their establishment, it's pretty easy to do. You just go to Boveda. You can either go to bovedabusiness.com or you can go to bovedainc.com, and there's actually a spot where you can click to apply for a business account, and it only takes a couple minutes.
Okay.
And, we just go through.
Yeah.
Mostly everybody is a really great fit for us, man. If you're a tobacco shop or a tobacco outlet, man, we want to be there.
Yeah, because it almost goes hand in hand when people are buying, especially if they're buying a humidor or something. It's nice to not have to think about it. Because I remember when I got my first. Sorry, Justin, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're fine.
When I got that first kind of wooden humidor, it just frustrated the hell out of me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to wipe it down with distilled water, and I'm trying to, and I was just like, screw this. A Tupperware is way more.
Dude, and Shawn, like, people don't know this. When you're seasoning a humidor using that old method of the wipe down, right? The wipe down method only gets to like the surface level of the wood in your humidor, right?
Yeah.
So while initially it might seem like it's working with your Boveda packs, if you decide to use Boveda packs for your maintenance, right? What'll happen is you'll slowly begin, you probably only touch about 10% to 15% of the wood. And then once that evaporates initially, essentially, your Boveda packs are working ultra hard and will deplete much quicker because not only do the cigars need it, but the wood is stealing away a lot of that water vapor as well.
Oh, yeah, makes sense.
That's why it's so important to use 84% because those get to the cellular core of your Spanish cedar.
Wow.
And that's why the 14 days allows it the perfect amount of time to get to the cellular core of your wood so that when you do put 69s or 72s or 65s or whatever you decide on, those packs will last way longer. You will be sitting at the percentage that you want it to be for almost forever. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
It's pretty rare that you'll need to reseason a humidor that's seasoned with Boveda packs.
So the only other, just a quick question. Is there a need for, and this kind of showing my ignorance here too, do you ever work with like dispensaries and that kind of that side of the industry?
It all works. I mean, that side of the industry, right? The flower side of the industry works exactly the same way that the cigar side does. People package with Boveda. They sell Boveda for people's home, home care and all of that stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So they too are looking for like the 72 or the 69, whatever works.
Yeah. In those cases, specifically 62% is going to be for your flower care. Yep.
Okay. So they want something a little bit lower.
Exactly.
Than typical. Okay.
Microbial growth level or humidity, I guess, ceiling for a flower is far less than it is for cigars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, I had no idea. So I just wanted to kind of throw that in if anyone, is going that route as well. So wow. So you guys, so now if you package, do you have people like package, like send coffee, like coffee beans with these packs, or would that be kind of counterproductive?
No, not at all. It's very productive. It's really cool, man. The amount of people that reach out to us on our customer service side and ask us, hey, I've got jumping spiders that I am moving from place to place. Which pack should I put inside of its vessel? Oh, dude, it's crazy. Coffee, all kinds of different foods, rice, you know what I mean? Like, what have you. Like, it's pretty incredible. Boveda has so many uses. We're barely now scratching the surface. I mean, obviously, Skipper is the new big thing for us, and we'll continue down the path, and we'll find whatever different kinds of different applications we have, and we'll touch on it.
Wow, that's awesome, man. That is awesome.
All right, Justin. Well, we have reached the point in the podcast where we go around the room and say, what we forget? So we will start with Mr. JP. Anything we forgot to mention? Anything we forgot to bring up?
No, man. Like this has been a ton of fun. Honestly, it's crazy. Like on the wrestling side of things, I feel like we just scratched the surface.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
We stoked to come back on and just talk wrestling for an hour and a half, man. Like it's a passion of mine, and very few people in the cigar industry actually know that I'm a wrestling geek and have been my entire life. So this is a really cool platform for me to spew my geeking about the pro wrestling world. So yeah, man. Look, if you don't use Boveda for your cigars or for your flower or your wood instruments or for your crisper drawer in your refrigerator, brand new thing.
That's right.
Definitely check us out.
And you caught me because so I did that on purpose because we made mention you're going to be going to SummerSlam. So unbeknownst to you, me and Justin already have you kind of slated for an episode after SummerSlam.
You got to tell us all about it.
Because we want that firsthand experience.
Yeah.
And that one will be just me, you, and Justin, and it'll just be all wrestling. And so we kind of did that on purpose to kind of lure you back in because, we were so stoked to have you on. We were like, how can we trick this guy into being on with us again? So
yeah.
you caught us.
Trick me at all, man. You don't have to trick me at all. I'm stoked. Very happy to be with you guys.
Oh, this has been awesome, man. So, all right. So Josh, did we forget anything that you wanted to mention, or do you want to remind our listeners about stuff going on here?
The biggest thing, one that I forgot, is the HDA, which you guys brought in here. We'll have the cut and light. Zach will be in town on July 30th.
That's right.
So that'll be a huge event for us. But like I said, about every couple of months we have something, but that's the next biggest one coming up.
Yeah, that's going to be a big
HTA.
event.
HTA.
I think you guys do their shipping and stuff as well over at HDA, and just
awesome, dude. Yeah, Zach and those guys are just stellar humans.
Yeah. Well, Pipe Yoda, Pipe Dude Love. What we forget?
Oh my gosh, man! This has just been so awesome, and again, we have been looking forward to this all for just quite a while. I will say, let me just say, give me a shout out to Tony Barea over at Stallone Cigars. Listen, dude, I'm getting low on the sample of pipe tobacco you gave to me. So I need to, and that needs to come out. I'm also looking for the Lord Nelson, Tony. So when that comes out, let us know. By the way, and I put this on our Smokin Sounds site. So one of my all-time favorite tobaccos is called Presbyterian Mixture. Pipe Mike said that was coming out in a pouch form, not a tin. It's a pouch, and it is. You can get it online nowadays. So I just wanted to let some of our listeners know that Presbyterian Mixture. That was the first genuine tinned premium tobacco that I ever purchased, and I only purchased it because of the name. And it's to all these years later, it still remains one of my favorites. So you pipe smokers, if you know about Presbyterian Mixture, you know what I mean. If you don't, or get you some online, get you a pouch. I promise you, that will definitely be worth it.
And again, JP, let's remind everybody where they can find you, because I know we've mentioned it a couple times, but we always like to make sure that people know where to find you on your social medias, obviously at bovedainc.com and all that. But if you don't mind, again, just letting people know where they can find you.
Yeah, dude, that's cool. Thanks for doing that. Obviously, first and foremost, Boveda Inc. At Boveda Inc. on Instagram. We do a lot of cool shit there, a lot of really great content. And then my own is Boveda_JP. We appreciate everybody who supports Boveda, over the last almost 30 years. It's been a wild ride. It's ever evolving, and it's been our pleasure and our honor to be part of this industry with awesome people like Josh. We appreciate it. You are the ones that make Boveda run, so thank you.
And I've said, I almost feel like Boveda's might be one of the, if not the biggest kind of cigar accessory, if you will, because you almost can't have something to keep your cigars in without Boveda, because it's just, again, it's tried and true, and it's going to work. And the other thing I meant to ask you, and I forgot, cellophane or no cellophane when you're storing your cigars?
Either one, doesn't matter. Dude, cellophane is breathable, man.
Okay, there you go.
Breathable. You know what I mean? It's made out of plants, and it's very porous. So I know that this is a debate that people have constantly, and it's like the plume debate, right? Plume is mold. You know what I mean? It is. So, a lot of people will say, sometimes it's just crystallization, you know what I mean? Forming from the sugars inside of the cigar. But it doesn't matter if I've got cigars that have cello on them and cigars that don't in the same vessels, and there's no issue with it.
Okay. Well, I want to thank to whoever runs Boveda's social media page. Every time that we post something, they're always so kind to share it. And, we're just a couple of knuckleheads from Tulsa, so we're always so thankful for that. Yeah. And again, we were so thankful to run into you guys at the PCA and just it felt like we were old friends and I just could not, we met a lot of great people, but I promise you the highlight for me and Justin was meeting you and Nate and Mike. It was just so phenomenal. We absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
Feelings mutual. You guys are awesome. I was talking to my wife yesterday. She's like, what are you doing tomorrow? And I was like, we've got Skip from Roma Craft, and then I'm a guest on a podcast. And I kind of explained, and she knows how big of a wrestling geek I am. And, and she was like, man, too bad they don't live closer, because I feel like you guys would hang out a lot. And I was like, there's no doubt about it.
Oh my gosh. That would be
no doubt, man. We'd be watching wrestling together. Speaking of being knuckleheads, man, she'd get sick of us quick.
Oh, I'm telling you, she'd be like, it's time for your friends to go home, JP.
Yeah, because Raw, SmackDown, AAA, Evolve, LFG.
Just go down the list.
Yeah, AEW, NXT, now NWA on Comet. Yeah. Come on.
We'd be trying to find that last surviving Blockbuster store to rent all the old 90s Attitude Era VHSs so we could hang out in the basement for a few more hours.
There you go.
Well, Justin, I guess on that, man,
we're gonna drop the leg on this episode.
You get
We should use right to the face of this episode.
Yeah.
See, look, we could go on and on, but we're gonna say that's a wrap on this episode of Smokin Sounds. Hey, listen, follow us at Smokin Sounds Pod. We've got a website too at Smokin Sounds Pod. We've got links to Boveda on our website. And so if you just want a one-stop shop, jump on Smokin Sounds Pod. Thank you so much to my wife at Dirty Birch Media for designing that website. Yeah, shop the show. Boom. It's going to get you right over there. But wait, there's more. That's right. Jump right over there to Boveda. Get you a couple of 69% humidity packs, whatever you need. If you're a retailer, bam, we got you taken care of. Listen, leave us a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify. It just helps others find the podcast so you never miss a beat.
Or a draw.
Hey, and so until next time, keep your cigars lit, your pipes packed, and the sounds smoking.
Ooh, sweet.
Perfect.